Try one more time. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you, class. Let's start this meeting with a pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I have a few appointments I need to make for this meeting. Parliamentarian Joe Moore, Sergeant at Arms Chief David Massey. You're packing right there. Timekeeper Laura Moon. Thank you, Laura. Teller Judy Butler. Judy, thank you. Judy, do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
We have a quorum. All right. Very good. Let me read the rest of the agenda so we can approve it. We'll have an approval, hopefully, of the minutes from the annual meeting from August 11, 2012. Presentation is Sam Wilkinson Volunteer Award. Then we'll have reports, a legal report, financial report, treasurer's report, president's report, general manager's report, old business, new business, public comment limited to 5 minutes, please, and the elections committee. Now, it has been suggested that we should do pledge allegiance and who won the election and go home, but we have to do our work. So we will do our work as we are required to do. So, do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Do I have a second? Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We have the minutes from the August 11, 2012 annual meeting. Do I have a motion to approve them? Do I have a motion to approve? Do I have a second? Any discussion, changes? Call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Now I get to do a very special thing. The Sam Wilkinson Volunteer Award, working diligently for Ocean Pines. I'm just going to go through some hints. Born in the Philadelphia region, taught school for 31 years, came to the Pines in 2004, chaired numerous Ocean Pines tournaments, on the board of the Platform Tennis Association, Publicity and Social Committee of the Platform Tennis Association, President of the Platform Tennis Association, competitor in the 60-plus national mixed doubles, clinics and teacher. After 31 years, you got to keep doing that. Also supported Ocean Pines Adopt-A-Park, Easter and July 4th events, organizer of the Susan B. Komen Rally Cure, which involved platform tennis, and the pickleball group all together. Currently organizing the OP first tournament involving players from Wilmington and Philadelphia. In the region, they're active in the OPA chapter, which promotes education, volunteers for Ocean City's Children's House by the Sea. And my big question is how do they define retirement? And when do they rest? The winners of this year's Sam Wilkinson Award, June and Jim Freeman. Please come forward. You certainly met. I'll do it.
I just want to say thank you so much. And 31 years ago, I stopped teaching, and I thought to myself, why in the world would I work and not be paid? And then when I did, I kind of started with the platform tennis, and I did a lot of volunteer work, and I found that I have gained a lot more than I have given, and I'm so proud to be there. And just one more thing, I know you have a long meeting. When in 2010, I was diagnosed with HER2 breast cancer, and up until 12 years ago, it was incurable, and it was a death sentence for me. But fortunately, volunteers before me, thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands, had raised money for me, and the cure was found. So I realized that volunteerism isn't just a slight little thing. And so now I'm volunteering, and and I helped run the Susan B. Komen Ocean Pines, that approached me and asked me to help the Ocean Pines platform tennis and pickleball, and we had 100 volunteers to raise money. Once again, it came full circle for the platform tennis for me and the Komen, and I'm just so proud to get this, and I want to tell you thank you, and it means a lot to me.
Thank you very much. This is a very big pleasure, and I'm going to accept this award not only for my own efforts and for my wife's efforts, but for the efforts of all the volunteers for platform tennis in the years past. It's a 100% volunteer organization, and we run it from nuts and bolts all the way through to every decision that's made. We do the clinics, we do the recruiting, we do the public relations, and this is why we can keep the prices down. And I'm very proud to say that platform tennis is one of the money-making amenities.
And just a side note, the Freeman family is about to depart on a trip to Pennsylvania because they have a very special birthday today, 91 years old, and we better get her to her birthday party. Thank you again, June and Jim. You do a great job
Thank
for
you
us.
very much.
Your 91st birthday, Rolf, too.
Whoops. Tripped on the carpet and lost a shoe in the process. Okay, we will move on to the report section of our meeting, and first up is Joe Moore and the legal report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just as last year, the legal front on the Ocean Pines Association this year has been very quiet. Other than seeking approval from the Board of License Commissioners for Worcester County for new service regarding the sale of alcoholic beverages at the Yacht Club and the Dockmaster's office at the Marina, normally the only legal action taken by my office were related to revisions and restatement to the Articles of Incorporation of the Association and various collection matters. First of all, with respect to the Articles of Amendment and Restatement, the efforts of the Bylaws and Resolutions Advisory Committee, chaired by Jim Trummel, resulted in a comprehensive analysis and update of the Articles of Incorporation with suggested Articles of Amendment and the third restatement to the Articles of Incorporation. At a board meeting held on April 24th, after notice had been given, the Board of Directors voted unanimously to approve the Articles of Amendment and Restatement. Thereafter, I submitted those revised articles to the State Department of Assessments and Taxation for its approval. The additional requirement with which the association must comply is the designation of the names of the members of the Board of Directors of the association, which will be accomplished following the election of the membership, which of course will be announced later this morning. With respect to the matter of assessment collections, at the end of January, Chris Woodley from my office prepared a spreadsheet for staff member Ruth Ann Meyer listing over 80 names supplied to our office by the association. Our office then ascertained the property values of those delinquent owners, and by checking the land records of Worcester County, a reasoned analysis of the amount of mortgages owed on the property could be determined. The purpose of that analysis was to determine upon what properties foreclosure by the association would be feasible. We were thereafter provided instructions as to those properties upon which to proceed. On April 26th, we filed suit in the Worcester County District Court against 5 properties. Of those 5 properties, 2 properties were vacant, and we were unable to effect service of process on those owners, notwithstanding numerous efforts to do so. One of those properties, after we filed suit, worked out a payment arrangement with Ocean Pines Association, and a stipulation of dismissal of the case was filed, citing the required payment schedule as a condition. Two of the property owners were served, but did not file a response to our lawsuits. Thus, judgments were entered in those cases, and the lien of judgment was entered in the Worcester County Circuit Court on July 19th against each of those defendants. In one additional case, and this is a recurring circumstance, we began preparing foreclosure documents against a property when we received notice, because we were the subservient lien holder, that the bank holding the first mortgage on the property was foreclosing on the property. In that foreclosure case, because we had determined that the property owner had some equity in the property, we filed a motion in the bank's foreclosure case for surplus proceeds in the event that the sale of the property will bring an amount of money in excess against the first mortgage payoff. In many instances, however, we receive notices of foreclosure sales, which we receive on all properties on which Ocean Pines Association staff has recorded notices of liens, but in most cases, an analysis of the State Department of Assessments and Taxation full value in comparison with the statement of mortgage debt shows that those homes have insufficient value upon which any surplus proceeds will be forthcoming. Also, Mr. Woodley from my office has met with Ocean Pines staff to review the procedures for filing cases in the district court in certain cases where the amount owed does not exceed the jurisdictional amount for small claims court. In small claims court, Ocean Pines Association, even though a corporation, which normally must retain the services of a lawyer to proceed, in small claims court, a corporation can proceed with filing suit by its staff representatives rather than expending legal fees for the preparation and prosecution of such debt collections by our office with the attendant fees. So that is a process which is ongoing. And, Mr. President, that is my report. Any questions?
Thank you, Jeff. Okay, we have our auditor's report, financial report. Chris Hall.
Good morning. Well, I know a lot of financial information is going to be passed out, has already been passed out, and there'll be a treasurer's report later. So I'm going to try to stay away from a lot of the nitty-gritty numbers and just kind of give a high-level talk here, and more importantly about exactly what an audit is and what my role is. The 38-page document, the financial statements, are actually management's financial statements. They're their financial statements. My job as an independent auditor, my firm's job, is to report on them, make sure that, and give it an opinion, make sure they're fairly presented in all material respects. And if they're not fairly presented, I need to tell everyone in this room that they're not. So besides the numbers, the most important page in that 38-page document is the independent auditor's report, right after the table of contents. And it's broken down into 3 or 4 paragraphs. The first paragraph is simply, what am I giving an opinion on? I'm giving an opinion on your balance sheet, your income statement, your cash flows, and the notes to the financial statements. The second paragraph is what are management's responsibilities? And just as I said, the financial statements are management's responsibility. It's their job to prepare the numbers properly and accurately reflect them in the financial statements, and to design internal control to make sure that they're free of material in the statement or fraud or errors. The middle paragraph is the auditor responsibility, my responsibilities. And my responsibility is to express an opinion on the financial statements, that they're fairly presented in all material respects. once again, we don't look at every single transaction. It's a big organization. Even if it wasn't a big organization, no one audits 100%. There's a level of sampling, analytics. We don't look at every invoice that goes out, and we don't look at every deposit that comes in. That's not what happens in an audit. There's a threshold level. That's what materiality is. The middle paragraph talks about just that. We make assessments. We try to understand your internal controls, how processes are happening, what's the flow of cash, who does what, but we don't give an opinion on internal control. In an audit, you're required to assess internal control and plan properly around that, but you don't give an opinion on internal control. That would be a separate engagement. And finally, the last paragraph is our opinion. And those that have been here before have heard me say there's 4 different types of opinions: unqualified, qualified, adverse, and a disclaimer. I try to do that from good to bad. Unqualified is a clean opinion, or the highest level of assurance that an independent auditing firm can give on a set of financial statements, and that's what Ocean Pines received for the fiscal year ended April 30, 2013, an unqualified opinion. So rather than go into all the numbers in the 38-page document, I know the treasurer has some handouts and is going to talk about some of the actual financial results, and it's all been passed out. The audit report's on the website already, I understand, so everything's up and available to the public. So absent of that, Mr. President, that's my report. Any questions?
Thank you, Chris. Okay, on to the treasurer's report. Gary Moore.
Now, don't be disappointed I'm not using a PowerPoint. If Pete's watching this, I'm sorry. You have been given several items, or collected several items when you came in. You got your packet with the agenda, which actually holds the PowerPoint that Pete did prepare. There's a lot of information on this PowerPoint. Helps you understand the financial reports that you've received. So it's a good document to look at. You received the comparative summary of financial information, actual to budget. Same thing. It's a lot of information. It's going to take you a little bit to comprehend it if you so choose.
Let me get a copy of that.
Right at the front door. If anybody didn't get one, they're right at the front door. And then the one with the blue cover, there are just some selected financial statements in there, things that we thought would be important to you to see. As Chris said, all of this is available on the website. This is what the paper copy of the audit looks like. Bob has them in his office. If you want to go there and look at it, if you're like me and don't like to read numbers off of the computer, we can talk about platform tennis if you want, since it makes money. The 3 things that everybody's talking about are 3 of our amenities: golf, yacht club, and aquatics. And I think it's been talked about pretty much every year for the last several years. I'm not going to talk about the negative side of those numbers. I'm going to talk about the positive of what we foresee. You can read the negative numbers. It's right there in black and white. But when it comes to golf has had a rough time. The board voted to do the greens work. The course is beautiful. The comments of people coming off the course are just incredible. Play is up. We're waiting for September to see what package play does. We're looking for a good year. If it doesn't happen, then the board has a decision to make. Okay, so that's golf. The yacht club, as everybody knows, we lost the pool. Last year, we closed the yacht club for part of the year. So the yacht club numbers are down. But the new pool, which is absolutely gorgeous, is open. We were there Thursday night for the preview of the pool, There were a lot of people there. All of us board members have been there several times over the last 3 or 4 months. The place sometimes, well, I know on the weekend, the place is packed. The one thing we did lose was banquet business, which is huge. But you can't expect somebody to book a banquet when the building is going to be torn down. So we expect banquet business is up and coming. Once the yacht club comes down after Labor Day and the new building starts, actually it's happening now because I've had people that live in that area say it's so neat to watch them work on that piece of property. And I can't wait until the foundation and those kinds of things are in because you can actually see it. That happened with the pool. I mean, when we saw the pool at first, it was just a big empty hole. But as they started to build it. So the yacht club is up and coming. People here support our yacht club. We hear a lot that they don't, but most of the people that say they don't support it don't go. We are all witness to the fact that people do go. Aquatics. A couple things happened last year with aquatics. Management changed the way they do their swim lessons. They've developed a new swim lesson program, and again, it took a hit, but it's really coming back. So we're going in the right direction. Unfortunately, the numbers from last year weren't great. Some were good. Bob has worked so hard at expenses, getting expenses down. We now have a facilities manager who is overseeing all of our facilities, which is great, but that adds personnel. So if you read these reports, they explain what has happened over last year. If you see something that you're saying, well, why did they do that? Call the office, call Bob, email me. If I don't know the answer, which does happen quite often, I will get the answer for you. The one thing we don't have are a lot of comments in our report. So you do, if you're wondering, call. Anybody is happy to answer you. Art, anybody. One thing that you'll see in Pete's PowerPoint is some information about the rebuild of the yacht club. Just, piece of information if you're just wondering about the yacht club. The only other thing I have to say is that I really want to thank Art and Pete. They work so hard to make this all happen for you, and they're only looking out for your best interest. We now have a Budget and Finance Committee who is headed up by Dennis Hudson. They do incredible work. They're very committed, and I look forward to another really good year from them. The board looks out for your best interest. I'm going to speak for all of them, but myself mostly. So there's your financial reports. If you ask me a question, I might not be able to answer.
Yes, I have 2 questions. In this packet of information that we have here, I don't see anything about 2014, the budget for 2014.
The budget for 2014 is actually available in administration and online.
Okay, but all right.
Today is just our previous year, a recount of our previous year and the audited version of our previous year. If you're looking for this year's budget, it is online. For the 14 budget, it is online. Or if you prefer to look at it on paper, administration has it.
Second question with regard to golf. What is your expectation? You say, we have to look forward and you don't want to look back and all that. I understand that. I'm not a golfer, so.
Me either.
But what is, again, I'm interested in 2014. It's unfortunate that the way you structured this thing, you don't talk about 2014 in the financial sense, because that's important to us. 2013 is very good as a reference point, but clearly we're looking forward, at least from my point of view, I'm looking forward. So specifically, the question with regard to golf is, what's the expectation with regard to the deficit that are likely to occur in 2014 for the golf? I answered the first question, but more to that. Our annual meeting requires us to report on the previous financial year. Okay.
And so that's what we're doing. We talk about next year's budget starting as soon as next year's budget is approved at the board meetings. So if you want to discuss those, come to the board meetings. There's every month we have our board meetings, and sometimes there are special meetings as well. We've already been talking about 14. The expectations of golf. I'm not going to speak for the entire board, but I can tell you what my expectation is. Casper's contract is up this year. It's either yes or no to Casper. And if it's yes to Casper, that means they have fulfilled their obligation. If it's no to Casper, then we have to think as a whole what we're going to do with the golf course. It doesn't, I tell you the truth, September's package play is so big that I don't want to say anything until after that month is over. I'm not going to make any judgments about it until that month is over. If you come to me like mid-October and say, well, what did you think about golf? And I know what it did in September, I might have a better answer. But it's so big. But I can just tell you that the response to the course has turned completely around from golfers and everybody else. Plus the fried chicken is excellent. Okay? Thank you.
Now it's my turn. Where are we? We are on a solid path. The facilities are under repair or under replacement. The funding mechanism is now fully in place. The last 3 years of the 5-year plan were voted in. County funding has been improved, but that trend needs to continue. But we did get some improvement this year. State funding continues to be a problem with roads. Annapolis continues to keep all of the tax money from the gas and give us very little. We do get some, but nowhere near what we used to get year over year. We're well over $1 million behind now in money from the state for our own roads. So quite frankly, we had to reallocate some of our own income, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And an exciting thing that's going on right now is the expanded grant revenue effort. Headed up by Dennis Hudson, we're looking for grants across the board for the various programs that we have to see if we can get some support so that we don't have to underline everything with our dues and our amenities. And the fear factor that's going on. There is a rumor, there are rumors out there that 3 events have happened that are going to cause us to have to raise the dues. First one, losses that were in place prior to 2009, which are a little over $500,000. We'll have to raise the dues for that. Not true. The payment to pay off that debt is already baked into the fees that you're paying. The IRS payment is going to require us to do something new. Get into your wallet again. The answer is no, we don't. It's already in the system. It's in the process. It's in the structure we've already got. Losses from last year, which were substantial. As Terry said, golf lost a little over $500,000. So it's a little tough to have a good year when that happens. But the bottom line is that the pluses that came from the 3 years prior to that basically net out those losses from last year. So there's no need for us to go into your wallet to get more money for that. So all of the fears of what's going to happen because of all these 3 items are just unfounded. Are there going to be operational increases? I don't know the answer to that. That budget process starts in October. But I can tell you that these 3 issues that are in the wind are not going to cause your dues to go up. Capital spending. We have the capital control structure in place that will assure the dollars that we need for capital And we now have a selection process that allows us to make decisions of where we're going to spend capital dollars. And unlike the rumors that are going around that we spend excessive amounts of money off budget in capital spending, well, here are the numbers right out of the report, folks. The capital budget from the year 2010 through 13 was $7.7 million. The unbudgeted replacement, meaning these were things, the replacement means they broke, they wore out. It was unanticipated that they would run out, or we had to maintain them. 2.4% of the budget is what got spent on that. Unbudgeted new capital, new ideas, things that we came up with to spend money on, 2.9%. That is not excessive in an organization, folks, that runs a budget of somewhere between $10 to $14 million a year. So we do not have an excessive capital spending process going on in our organization. On to operating budget. There's also an issue of operations. Do we have control over the operations spending? Well, here are the last 4 years, and there's our good old $441,000 loss last year, right out of the reports. Nets to a deficit of $77,000. Now, you want to measure how operationally you work? We are a nonprofit. At the end of the year, we're supposed to come out at zero, is where we're supposed to be. You take all those years together, and we are at 99.8% of being dead center bullseye on the operating budget and the management of the operating budget in this organization. So again, operations controls, they're in place. The team's doing a good job. $77,000 after 4 years of $10+ million, $8 to $10 million worth of operations is not a bad offer, is not a bad functioning of a nonprofit. As a matter of fact, it's pretty darn good. Where else are we? Well, the ever-proven management team. We added a new facilities manager, as Terry talked about, Jerry Avita. Big addition to the team. One of the biggest issues that we were faced, and in some ways I will talk over the last 3 years, because I've been on the board for 3 years now, was you don't maintain your facilities, you don't take care of them, there's no schedule of maintenance. Well, that's what Jerry was brought on the team to do, to help us oversee all of that and make sure that we take care of what we have. But our community continues to evolve. Slowly, but it is evolving. We're celebrating our 45th anniversary right now. There's lots of pictures and images out there for everybody to see about how Ocean Pines started. Well, look at where it started and look where it is today. Things are continuing to evolve, and they will always evolve. We must be willing to listen and evaluate new ideas. But at the same time, we can't jump to conclusions that the crazy board is going to go do everything you hear. We have to listen to ideas. It doesn't mean we're going to do them. It's our process. It's our requirement that we listen to ideas and we analyze them. We have a tendency sometimes to jump to conclusions that look what they've already done, when in fact there hasn't even been a motion on the floor to do whatever it is. Most importantly, we've got to stay focused on who we are. We are an HOA. We are not a municipality. We are an HOA, but we're a very large HOA. We're not a single condo building. We are, in fact, a very large organization. The board, in the future, depending on who they are, I wish them well, and I can assure you, they must continue to make hard decisions. They can't shy away from them. And they've got to do it through an analysis of good, solid information. Those are the steps we have to take. As far as the future, the board and the staff are going to face a big decision when it comes to Casper Golf. It's in their hands. What's the trend? Where are we? The golf course is 18 holes, no replacement holes. It's back in place, and it's up to them to deliver. As I have said before, they've got to earn their work. That's their job, and their contract does run out this year. We have a new yacht club that's soon to be built, but the building is only one of the 3 critical parts. You have to have the food and the service to go with it. We are going to be supplying the staff with the building. Us, in this room, we're paying for it. We're building the building. It's up to Bob and the team and David and everyone over there to deliver the food and service that brings us back to the yacht club time after time. It's going to be their job to do that. Other facilities are waiting attention. Work's not done yet. But 2 of the things that we've done that I think are very critical is we do have now a facilities, call it a rack and stack, whatever you want to call it. It is a roadmap, a guide to action as to what ought to be looked at next and in what order. It's being updated right now to come back out in September, but that process exists. We also have the capital improvement plan process, which allows us to analyze in an organized fashion where we're going to spend capital dollars and in what year, so that we can map out the future of the organization to level out some of the uncertainty that may be coming forward for our organization. We have a solid financial structure, but it's got to be protected. I've served on the board 3 years now. Every single year we've had different approaches which need to be thought about. But at the end of the day, as they would say, stay the course. We've got the processes in place now that were not there 3 years ago. We've got the systems. Are we done? No. Roads, bridges, drainage, they are going to take creative solutions and determined action. Those issues cannot come off the agenda of the board. They cannot come off the radar screen. It's easy to say, well, okay, thank you for your presentation. We'll see you later. That's not what's happening, and that's not what's going to happen, I hope, going forward from the board. I know for a fact that Bob keeps it on his radar. I'm assuming the board will too. But I have some personal comment. First, I want to say thanks to all the clubs that sponsor our OPA. There are many, many organizations and clubs across the Ocean Pines Association that give us recreational opportunities and have purposeful reasons for existing. It makes part of our community. It's a very strong part. I want to thank everyone who works for a positive future of our community, not constantly looking for every single little possible thing that's wrong, but working for the positive effect in the good direction of our organization and our community. I want to thank the advisory committees. They work very hard, along with the facilities planning group, that help us get organized into what facilities needed to be addressed. I want to thank the elections committee. Judy and your team, great job. We've had some interesting challenges this year, and I thank you for getting through them. And you did a good job. Thank you. I don't know who won yet, but you still did a good job. And I want to thank Dave Stevens and Ray Unger, who came on the board with me 3 years ago. We've had an interesting 3 years. We haven't always agreed, but we've always come prepared, ready to debate, sometimes with energy behind it. But I thank those 2 gentlemen for serving, and I thank all the board members that serve. We, as you all know, are volunteers in this job, and sometimes we're not going to get everything right. A really personal appreciation. The OPA staff. Folks, I could spend the next hour giving you examples of how dedicated our staff is to our community, how hard they work. Do they make mistakes? Yes, they do. Did anybody work for a living while they were working? Did anybody work? Everybody worked, right? Did anybody ever not make a mistake? I see one hand going up. Reality is, folks, is we have a very large organization and a very dedicated staff, and every now and then they're going to stumble. And when they do, Bob educates them and gets them back on track, and that's his job. I have thoroughly enjoyed working with the OPA staff over the last 3 years. I guarantee you they are committed to this community, whether they live here or not. They are a very committed group. To Bob Thompson, he did. You did that. That's very nice.
Made you laugh.
You made me laugh. That's true. It was a very interesting time 3 years ago when I walked onto the board and Bob walked into the room, and there were all kinds of clouds in the air of who got there and how'd they get there and what are they going to do and all those things. Well, we're 3 years past that now, folks. And I hope that you've been happy with what we've done. I can assure you that Bob Thompson is the hardest working person that I have ever known in working in a job like this. This is not an easy job. We are tough customers. And we will remain tough customers, by the way. That's not going to change. But I do want to thank you for your work and your efforts. And lastly, the jumping really should be for this person, for Carol Terry. Thanks for all the support. It's about the members, folks. Community center expanded hours, open and fully utilized. You can't even get a room in this place most of the time because we got so many things going on now. We have a new yacht club coming. We took this casino money and aimed it at the roads because the state is keeping the tax money. Tennis court refurbishment, platform tennis improvement. Platform tennis is actually growing as a sport. Yes, we took the risk of the greens work and the course refreshment. Yeah, we knew it may not be popular, and we may end up with a few stumbles because of it, but we have to keep maintaining our community, and this was one of the things we had to maintain. Pool repairs and the new pool with the yacht club. Live streaming of the network, that wasn't going on a few years ago. And expanded information online. I could keep going, but there's a little blue box on the right to you. But it's not done. There's an enormous amount of work to do. The new board has a very large organization to try to direct, and I wish them well as they go forward. And all I can do is close with, I want to thank you for my opportunity to serve for the last 3 years. Thank you very much. Any questions of me? Okay, Bob.
Tom looked so serious this morning when he came in, had this scowl on his face. I thought, I got to do something with one of the slides to make him smile. And I did start putting in front of Carol's, but I knew you were going to be emotional anyway. So, all right, I promised not to be an hour and a half. I probably wanted to be 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to just try to cover some highlights this year. They certainly are not all the highlights. I could spend a day doing that. But I did want to hit some highlights of the organization that folks may not have seen, may not be aware of. The annual meeting's a great time because a lot of you don't get to attend all the board meetings and all the other events. So this is a great time to just hit some quick highlights. We'll start with the most recent Freedom 5K we just completed on the 4th of July. Big event, second year we did it. We had last year's event, we raised $500 for the Home of the Brave. We had 294 participants. This year we had over 423 folks that came out and ran. We doubled our efforts and gave Home of the Brave $1,000. Real exciting event, something our Rec and Parks team has put together, teamed up with OC Tribe for the system that monitors everything. It's been a great event, and it's a great show. We're a real strong community when it comes to supporting veterans, so things like this are always wonderful. Also, that we expanded our event over the entire weekend there. We had over 1,200 attendees. If you didn't see it over near the Veterans Memorial Park, all the events and activities that went on, Public Works built new booths, and we dramatically expanded what we were doing out there. And it was wildly popular, well attended, a lot of wonderful comments back. Another thing going on, for those that don't know it, we started our Cases Wine Club at the Yacht Club.
something that I know not a lot have heard of, but we've had multiple events in the last 3 months. So far, the first event started with 30, 35 patrons. The last few were over 80 patrons that came out and participated in it. In addition to that, we've done some wine pairings with cooking classes with Chef Paul, and they've been sold out the 2 times that we offered those. So we are making improvements. Folks are enjoying the club in different ways. They're just different types of programs we're trying to put out there. And I've tried to put, I know it's a little hard to see, but I always try to put community folks in my slides. This one was a big deal. The Osprey Recipient. Bob Abley was awarded the prestigious Osprey Award for his incredible dedication and contributions to the program. He played a key role in the initial planning stages of the program and has been on the board since '99. He won that award this year. It was a big deal. It's the MCBP is Maryland Coastal Bays program. So it's supporting our waterways. A big award, and I want to make sure I highlighted him today. There he is. Okay, Miss Anna. Anybody doesn't know Miss Anna? She is a firecracker, to say the least. I don't see her here, so I don't think. No, she'd raise her voice if she was. So, she received a Congressional award from Congressman Andy Harris this year for long-time volunteerism, President of Star Charities, which she and her deceased husband Carl founded. Congressman Harris presented to Miss Anna the Congressional Award for Outstanding Service and Volunteerism with the Girl Scouts of America. She was just another gem in the community that does a lot of volunteer work. Puts a lot of effort out there, and trust me, she can be a thorn in my side if I don't do what she tells me. So I just want to recognize her today as well. Some things you may not be aware of. The Maryland Recreation and Parks Association has their annual conference. It's in Ocean City. We participate, but we haven't been actively participating. This year, we've got a lot more aggressive with it. One of the things we did was submit some of what we do in 4 different categories from the Rec and Park side combined with our public relations side. And of the 4 categories we submitted, we won 3 top awards. The program logo for our farmers market, activity guide for the OPA activity guide, the winter session, and our facilities brochure, which are listed here. These are pretty big awards because we're competing against all the rec departments throughout the entire state. So it just, I was real proud of the team for all the work they put into it, Sonia and her efforts and Teresa and her efforts, getting all the information together and putting it out there. Hands down, they won the 3 awards, and we were surprised the first time we submitted to actually win them, but we were very, very pleased. It didn't surprise me from the standpoint our team does an excellent job, and I just want to make sure I highlighted them today as well. All right, some of the projects. Give you a couple quick updates here. Golf. A lot of people talking about golf. That was a big thing we were talking about. The golf project, from the green standpoint, it was a big step for us. It took a lot of thought, a lot of process from the board to make that decision where we're going to be in the golf, business or not. And if we are, how do we get serious about it? It was a big challenge for the existing board to make that decision. I think they made the right decision. I'm 100% behind it. But what it did was lead us to the results of this year. When you only have half a product to sell and it's not in good shape, you're just not going to get the results you're hoping for. Like any investment, it's long-term payoff that you're looking for. And I absolutely believe we're staged very, very well to get that. Let me give you a couple of quick highlights you may not have seen. First, and I'm sorry these pictures are a little dark to see, but the course is stunning. I mean, it's absolutely, and I'm a non-golfer, okay, so this is feedback I'm getting from folks coming to the course, golfers, folks that are coming from the Pam's Golf and the Golf Getaway, the folks coming in to see it. The bottom right corner of the slide was Mr. Billy Casper came out for a big event for us when the course opened up. That was huge. We had a lot of folks there, filled up the course, and he did a phenomenal putting contest. For a man of his maturity, it was really, really interesting to watch him. What a professional and what just a nice, kind man to sit and talk to. So great event, and great to have him come to the Ocean Pines community. A couple other highlights, a couple of guys, I found some of the pictures, and I was trying to highlight some of the work we did, and these guys got in the way. But they're sitting on one of the benches in pre-position, and apparently the benches are fairly comfortable, at least for one. So I want to make sure I brought it. You know who you are. The other thing that I thought was really, really neat, those that may not know, Buddy Sass, PGA Pro, who was here for a while, he came out and played the course. And this was his comment. The renovations are awesome. The restoration of the greens and enhancement of the bunkers are simply spectacular. OPA knocked it out of the park. Pretty big compliment coming from Buddy. I mean, he's well respected in the area, talks very highly. Anybody that knows him does a great job with the Ocean City Golf. But for him to come out and play the course and give us that type of compliment, we made the right decisions. Now we're back on a path of getting golf turned around, which desperately needed. A couple other quick things on golf. And again, the reason I'm hitting this one the hardest, it was our biggest, obviously financial loss of the year, and things are actually changing. A couple of things. The golf summer camp, junior camp program has been extremely successful. The reason that I feel is important is as you know, most of us in the community are maturing. We're going to have to find those younger golfers to come up and start joining our course, participating in our course. John and his staff down there have done an excellent job promoting that. One of the things that the golf membership did recently, we had an outing, and they came out and helped support the kids. They made them feel extremely welcome. It was just a wonderful event for all. The Ocean Pines Members Council raises money through these type of events, and they've donated $3,000 this year in scholarships to high school students. So it's a very, very active group, and we appreciate their efforts. The junior golf tournament recently occurred. We had teamed up with Peninsula, pardon me for not having it in front of me, Peninsula, Delmarva, thank you. And we got on their cycle for one of the junior events. Largest amount they had up until ours was 28 children participating. Came to Ocean Pines, they had 52. The other thing that John pointed out to me, of the events they've had around the shore this year, the number of children of those 28, only 2 were young ladies. We had 7. So it's a really, really nice testament to the effort that our golf community, our new golf pro out there is putting out, is driving our course back to what we should be, and that's a premier course here on the Eastern Shore. So thanks for all the golf efforts. Love having the kids out. Certainly adds the revitalization to the course from one end to the other. So thank you all for that. Thanks to the board for allowing us to move forward with the golf project. Some other things that are happening you may not have seen. Paddleboard courts had some upgrades, and I know that one I didn't have a choice. I'm not going to tell you which group was stood on my chest to make sure it happened, but we got them done, and they're very, very excited about it. Marquee signs are being replaced. Some have seen a few of the new ones. The rest will start popping up real soon. The majority of them have been put together in Public Works. And we're replacing them. I don't know if you noticed, but the ones that are out there are actually falling apart. I mean, some of them you push and they rock. So we're just trying to, this is part of the ongoing maintenance. Right here was a good spot because I mentioned the paddleboard. Something that happened recently was all of the racket sports got together and they had an outing for the day, and they raised over $2,000 for breast cancer. So I appreciate the effort. Again, I want to highlight some things that the community does. Forget what we do every day. It's really about community. And it was really, really impressive when you've got the different racket groups that are actually starting to work together on events as opposed to each kind of hunkering down in their area. They're making a great effort to cross lines and do some wonderful events. So thank you for that. It's a real good testament to the community. New Yacht Club pool. For those who have not seen it, here's our new pool. I hope everyone has, but I don't think I recognize everyone in here. So come out and take a look. We've had great reviews on it so far. Big, big changes. Real pleased with the from what we had to where we are now. Big highlight for us. And those who have been asking, the building, the new building, or the building that's been refurbished on the back side, half of it's new, half of it's not. but the siding and the roof material is what you're going to see on the new yacht club. I had some folks ask me about the blue roof. If you remember, and I'll show you a picture of that in a second, why this doesn't have the blue roof. Well, the cupolas do have the blue roof. I don't think it's quite the exact one we're going to get on the main roof yet, but if you remember, the main frame of the building has the architectural shingles. These are the ones that we're going to have. So if you want to see a small snapshot of what the colors and what the new building's going to look like, go by and look at that. The other neat part about this, the retaining wall has been put in. That's the far wall here. And then below it, if you walk along here and you go up, the new bathrooms are in for the marina folks. And that includes showers and facilities there. So real exciting, great step moving forward. Another quick shot of the pool, you get a better shot of the pavers. Okay, yacht club demolition. Remember I said blue roof. I want to make sure I put that again. Colors don't always show as true on the slide, as you know. But this area, the main area, is with the roof line that matches the other for the architectural shingles, and then all the cupolas and the tower points here and the one on the front all have the blue roof. So that's how it's all designed, and that's how it'll match up. Demolition of the new yacht club should begin. Our goal is to get through Labor Day weekend. As soon as Labor Day is over, we close the facility down. We have about a week to 2 weeks, depending on how long it takes us, to get everything out that we need that we're going to salvage for future use. We're already starting to, on the third floor, make those arrangements now. So as quickly as we can get that all that out of there, then the tear down of the building begins. Okay, so you're probably looking at around the second week of September into the third week, in that window, to have that building, the demolition of the building. One of the things we are going to try to do is salvage some of the cedar siding that's inside and cut it into strips. I've had folks coming asking us for some mementos to the building. We thought the cedar siding inside would make the best things to give you. So we're going to cut some of those up and have them available after the demolition begins. New yacht club targeted contract date, and again, I'm not saying it's going to be done by this. Okay, you all know I don't no longer give dates. The pool opened. Yeah, I didn't tell you when. That's right. It's scheduled per the contract middle of March. As you know, we've had an extremely heavy season rain-wise. It's delayed a lot of things. We're expecting they're going to have to add a week or two on that, so it may be towards the end of March. But if you haven't noticed, the pilings are going in. Once they're in, the spread footers get poured around it. Then you'll start to see it accelerate. And certainly once they get it under roof, the process can be sped up even more. So sometime early spring, for all the moms, dads, and brides that are calling me, we're still targeted to be open. We have 12 weddings already scheduled starting in late May, early June. So that's pretty good testament to how excited people are when there's not even a new facility sitting there. Again, some of the calls I've had have been interesting about when it's going to be done. So excited about that. Last thing I want to make sure I highlight, it's our 45th year, folks. That's a pretty good testament for the community. We've had events throughout. August is our month where we're celebrating a lot of different things. So I want to make sure I highlighted a few. Come out to the golf course on the 16th. There's going to be events and activities happening there, and this is all on the website. It's on flyers. You can come to the main office and the foyer and pick things up. The free swim day, we're going to open on Tuesday the 20th. All of our pools will be open. Okay, so you'll be able to come in and use them and enjoy them. We're not charging you to come in that day. The 45th anniversary party at White Horse Park is on Thursday the 22nd. Jamaican Beach pool party over at the beach in Ocean City on the 23rd. 25th OP Chamber Classic Car Show. They're going to stage here and then take the Classic Car Show over at the Veterans Memorial. We're partnered up with the Chamber of Commerce on that. Real excited about what's going on there. Heads up, they're going to be going down the Parkway. Parade down the Parkway. Everybody okay? In August. So remember, there will be delays, but it's a positive delay. All right, Chief assures me he'll give you a break if you're trying to get out, but just be prepared for that. And the platform tennis folks who don't big block party, or platform, it's actually the whole tennis complex. Please go down and enjoy that. They're really making a lot of strides down there. The other thing that I want to make sure I remind everybody, tomorrow afternoon is the party at the new yacht club pool, and we're going to do a ribbon cutting at 5. Okay, so they're going to have an outdoor on the deck. We're going to be serving food. There's a buffet. It's $15. Not I'm selling anything, but come out and enjoy that, and then we'll do a ribbon cutting at 5, and we'd love to see you all out there. Okay, how did I do time-wise? Short and sweet, right? All right, thank you all. All right, I'm going to go to the back. I'll come this way. Yes, ma'am? Yeah, great question. Yeah, the pool at the yacht club will be open until a day or two before the teardown. We were going to try to keep it open a little further past that, but the concern is once you tear down, if the wind shifts, your dust and particles are going to get in the new pool, get sucked into the pumps, and then we may damage the pumps. So we decided we'll get probably a month out of it, a month and a week if all holds, and then we'll shut it down.
So will the service bar be open with food until you're going to take stuff out? So that's
At Labor Day, the service bar and everything will shut down. Yeah, because we're going to start tearing everything out of there at that point. And by next year, it'll be open further than that if I can get it. And there was one right. Yes, ma'am. I'll come right. Yes, ma'am.
It's probably a silly question, but all the stuff you're going to save, what are you going to do with it during the building time?
Storage-wise?
Yeah.
We've actually we're going to have 2 storage trailers brought in, and we have a storage unit in Selbyville that it's I forget what the number, $300 a month or something to store it. So we're going to, but the equipment that we pull out of the kitchen, those type of things, we're going to get everything steam washed and power washed and then put it there. The dishes, utensils, plates, cups, all that type of stuff, they'll be stored on site in storage trailers. And I'll come here, Joe.
Over at the yacht club, one of the most popular destinations is at Tiki Bar, especially on weekends. We haven't heard much about what's happened with that, no pictures or designs. Could you explain a little bit about what the plans are for that, if we're going to see some design?
Yeah, the plan is to replace the Tiki Bar, okay? As to exactly what they're going to be, we don't have a plan or design yet. And the reason for it is we wanted to wait until the facility came down and the new one started coming up. You'll get a much better visual of the space that's going to be involved there. So we'll know, does it stay positioned exactly where it is? Do we slide it over a little more? Do we turn it? Those type of things haven't been determined yet. And that's the only reason why we haven't started really putting the pieces together on it, because a lot of it will be determined based on what the space allocation is. And I had 1 or 2 more in the back, and I don't want to hold the meeting too long. Tom?
Yeah, can you comment on the Section 3 drainage work? Specifically, has the county done the work on Beach Road that they were talking about?
The county did accomplish work where they improved the piping across into the River Run property, so that was accomplished. We're still looking very hard at drainage in the Section 3 area. Myself, the board recognizes we still have challenges there, and we are aggressively looking at a new plan of how we might be able to tackle that. That's probably the biggest glaring thing that we really need to keep lined up right now. And I will tell you, it is something we're focused on. And Mr. Unger?
Yeah. You know the big staff that's on top of the yacht club now?
Yes.
The
flagpole.
The flagpole and everything else. It's been suggested that be taken down and possibly optioned off. Somebody may want to put something like that in their
Does that meet our guidelines? No, good point. Don't know what we're going to do with that yet. The new club will have a taller mast out there because it's going to be mounted on the ground on the water side, so it's more accessible. So it'll be taller, so we will be moving that. Another recommendation was maybe move it over to the country club or the beach club. So we're going to look at reusing it. So, are we good? Yes, ma'am?
What about the drainage project that's supposed to take place on Hingham?
Hingham Lane, the completion of the drainage. Great question there. I just signed the final permit this week, Thursday of this week. They've had to re-engineer it 3 different times to get it through the state All the applications are now in with the state. The application, according to Steve Soule, the engineer working on it, he has met with the state multiple times to make sure that what they're submitting will meet what their requests are. So the intent would, and I said it at the last board meeting, forgive me, 45 days, 60 days on the outside for the approval through the process there, but the work itself is only about 2 weeks. Again, weather permitting. Okay? Yes, sir?
Maybe I should have asked Tom the question. What are the plans for that, looking into the conversion to a municipality?
All right. Tom will address that one. All right. I'll take one more, and then because I promised I wouldn't be long. Are we good? All right. Thank you all.
The investigation into the municipality issue is being handled by our Budget and Finance Committee. It's one of those issues that has been suggested. It's being evaluated, and we will be getting a report from that advisory group as to what the steps are. I know they've got some people coming in to be speakers and present the various issues, the pluses and minuses to it. So, as usual, I expect them. They will do a very thorough assessment and report to the board where we stand on that. Okay. There is no old business. Any new business to be brought forward? Okay, public comment. Is the mic ready to go?
Let's use that.
We'll just use this one for public comment. If you don't mind, we'll just step up here and do that. Public comment. This has got to be a record. Thank you, folks. Appreciate that. You think you might want to find out who? I'm sorry. Go ahead. By all means.
I built my home here in '95.
Name and address, please.
Bob Bauer Smith, 19 Crossbow Trail.
Thank you.
We built here in '95. Ever since, as best I can remember, with the exception of the marina and the beach club, the amenities, or I should say maybe the major amenities, have always run in the red. Sometimes a little bit, sometimes a lot. Okay? Now last year we had the disaster, golf club, $500,000. I don't know, the yacht club was $140,000, whatever it was. I'd like to make a suggestion. At the close of business on April the 30th of 2015, if an amenity is not at least break even, lock the door, put a sale sign in the window, and just stop. Really?
Anybody else? Okay. See, we should have gone from Pledge Allegiance to who won the election. Judy, you're on. Again, thank you very much to the whole committee. They did a great job this year, so thank you very much.
Okay, the work is done, and here are the results. The top number of votes went to Jack Collins, 2,257. The next top number is Bill Cordwell, 1719. And the next number is Tom Terry, 1712. Congratulations to all of you. You have a 3-year term. If you want the stats or the information, and all the candidates can pick it up at the desk over there where the election committee is. Yeah, over here, I'll give you.
Okay. I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.